It's a Bitcoin zoomed out monthly chart when compared with a gold zoomed out monthly chart. Some new data I want to go over. It's going to blow your mind. It is a really nice signal. I'll just say that. Ethereum zoomed out on the daily, a pattern that I would say, if you're an altcoin holder, this is one of the best charts as we go into the beginning of altcoin season. So we're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about altcoins. We're going to talk about crypto, everybody. Hit the subscribe on your way in. If you're in the live chat, please smash the like button for me. Sorry for the little bit of a delay. I completely unplugged my entire system before going live, and I had to restart things. So let's start. I want to, as we're zoomed out on all of these charts, I want to just go over something. I posted this yesterday because this is laying the groundwork for what I'm thinking, and I think a lot of people are thinking. Dare I say it, this time is different. This cycle is different. It is. It's different. People will still say this cycle is not different, but remind me, who was the pro-crypto president talking about US as the crypto capital of the world last cycle? Who was it? What Bitcoin ETFs were breaking records last cycle? There were no Bitcoin ETFs. What institutions were accumulating altcoins last cycle? Altcoins. Dare I say we even now have a meme coin index. Van Eck has a meme coin index. Who was the bullish crypto czar last cycle? There wasn't one. What president was talking about a US Bitcoin reserve last cycle? It was not happening. Who was pushing for crypto-friendly legislation last cycle? Which major institutions were openly holding Bitcoin last cycle? Tell me how this cycle is not different. It's different. So I wanted to lay the groundwork, and I'm going to consistently talk about these things because when we start digging into the macro, the technicals, the zoomed in charts and the volatility, the dips that can happen, the downside that can happen, even on the zoomed in, like kind of midterm, it's always going to be there. It's always going to be volatile. But when we're really looking at the long-term picture here and a Bitcoin monthly chart, for instance, and we're taking these things into account and how it is different this cycle, this is next level. In terms of the cycle, I saw this post. Bitcoin's about to enter thrill. And it's insane how the psychology of market cycle is playing out on this Bitcoin chart. Optimism, hope, and we've been through it, right? We've been kind of going through the entire bear market into the bull market, and we've seen these emotions in the markets. And right now, this chart kind of saying we're kind of like in that belief phase, but ending that phase and getting ready to go into thrill. I think a lot of people, they do think we're in euphoria, and I completely disagree with that. It just has not seemed like that at all in terms of my perspective as a content creator. But this makes more sense to me, kind of in this thrill area. And it is thrilling. I don't know about y'all, but it's been pretty thrilling. And so if we continue through this story, though, we end up with the Bitcoin supply shock. And this is really what's propelling much of the space. And it's propelling much of what makes it different this time. So I want to kind of start with this clip, and then we're really going to dive into the charts. We're going to dive into Bitcoin charts. We're going to dive into altcoin charts. So let's take a quick look at this. Vivek says $7 trillion Charles Schwab says Bitcoin is going to 1 million once Trump establishes a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Check this clip out.
So I think in the short term, we're going to see one of two cases. The first case is we're going to have some sideways action between 110 and downwards to 80, and we'll see some chop. The second scenario, and that will come either in the short term or in the medium term, is once we have the Bitcoin Act, which is currently under consideration.
I just want to say, actually, and we'll watch the rest of the clip, I really like the short-term analysis that she gave in terms of potential downside into the 80s. It is literally the chart that we've been talking about. So I really like that short-term analysis, but let's look at this next part. I think it's more relevant to what we're talking about.
Past where the U.S. government will be buying Bitcoin into its reserves, as well as other countries and other corporates for their treasury assets as well, we could see a 500K Bitcoin or $1 million Bitcoin. The sky is really the limit here.
And why? What would drive it there?
So that's the big question. It sounds nice through the cycles, these crazy targets, $1 million Bitcoin, but that's the question is why. So let's check out our answer.
So Bitcoin is inherently a scarce asset. You only have 21 million Bitcoins. And the Bitcoin Act, for example, proposes buying 200,000 Bitcoins a year, which would significantly drive up the price as there's a finite supply.
And what about use cases? I was talking about this.
Do you imagine that? Do you imagine that? US buying 200,000 Bitcoin a year, besides the cycles, besides what we've already seen over the bull markets, what happens with Bitcoin supply shock? Could you imagine US buying 200,000? And I would say this, the domino effect of that. What's China doing? What's Russia doing? What are governments doing? What are institutions doing? This time is different. The cycle is different. And I don't know if it means we're absolutely going to the moon, but I will say this, it's just different. So let's start looking at the charts. So before I do, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Crypto.com. I was really excited to bring on Crypto.com like last month as a sponsor of the channel. I don't know if you saw my post on X. They just built such an awesome app. Go download it. Click the link in the description below. But you can earn crypto rewards. You can kind of see a glance here of some of the rewards that are there. If you're accumulating crypto, if you're stashing crypto, they have some nice rewards. But they also have this puppy, this Visa card. It's metal. That's the only way I can explain it. It's just metal and just a really cool card. You can earn really nice rewards. If you go sign up, download their app, sign up, they'll give you $25 after you KYC, and that unlocks once you just get the Visa card. For me in a bull market, especially towards the beginning when we're not seeing, at least for me, I'm not seeing this major profit-taking action. I'm not majorly profit-taking right now. It feels good to get out and just, I'm going to spend a little crypto on my card. I'm going to go to dinner and I'm going to reward myself spending a little crypto, something like that. So this card is really cool for that, from my perspective. But look at the rewards, CRO rewards, depending on what card you get, up to 8%. So pretty epic. Shout out to Crypto.com for sponsoring the video. Go download their app. In general, their app is just very smooth, very nice to use. So let's continue on into the video. Here we go. This is the Bitcoin gold data I'm excited to share. I started my morning today and I saw in my inbox some messages from Plutus Pool over here. And we were really just talking about the monthly RSI on Bitcoin. And truly, I said, my secret financial advisor just told me he thinks the Bitcoin monthly RSI is going to hit an all-time high on this cycle. I'm not bullish enough. I'm kidding about my financial advisor, but legit, this dude over the years, he just has such good foresight, good insight into the markets, and I actually really respect the things that he says. And so I posted this chart, and it is a Bitcoin monthly RSI. We've talked much about it in terms of how bullish it is. He said he thinks RSI is going to hit all-time high this cycle, which is, if you think about it, if we go look at the chart where it is right now, that's insane, because all-time high is up towards 100, number one. One thing I want to make a note of, and I don't remember the post, I don't have it up. I did see, and we covered this, I think, a week or two ago. Last cycle, this RSI like topped out early because of things that were happening in the market, and it didn't get its full bull run. And that was interesting to me to think about, right? Imagine if last cycle, the Bitcoin RSI did make its way like into the 96 area, kind of like previous cycles. But let's imagine it gets there this cycle. We're only at 76 on this monthly RSI in this environment where things really are seemingly different in a very bullish way. So this is just a signal of how much upside there is just to previous, even to last cycle monthly RSI, where it topped out early. But now if we're talking about this RSI is hitting an all-time high, man, there's so much upside. And I think we really have to pace ourselves if it plays out like this. So that's number one in terms of what he was saying. But the second piece that he dropped in my inbox was about gold. And it plays into the RSI as well. The gold RSI. And I'm not so much looking, and this is what wasn't really what he was talking about, not so much looking at what gold is doing right now, but on the monthly chart, if you notice the gold ETF, check the gold ETF. First off, we've noted, many have, it was pretty much up only after that move. on the Bitcoin charts, and I forget exactly what month we got the Bitcoin ETF, but what if Bitcoin plays out this way? We're seeing, even Jerome Powell recently just said it's a competitor. Bitcoin's the competitor to gold now. Now that Bitcoin has the ETF, are we going to see a similar up-only gold ETF chart? But more so, check out the RSI. After gold got its ETF in November 2004, you can just see it made a really nice move to the upside and then it consolidated. I want to point that out because on the monthly, for months, it pulled into the 20-month moving average. But look at this. This is, if you visualize this as a Bitcoin chart and you visualize this as Bitcoin getting its ETF, getting a nice pump, and then consolidating, going higher, all of this on the monthly from 2004, we're talking to 2012, up only, that's a super cycle. That's that's beyond a super cycle. So take that, I would take the gold ETF as probably the biggest, strongest data point for what could be in store for Bitcoin right now. The one thing I do want to mention is we should pace ourselves. In case Bitcoin does take a break, and I'm not saying it's definitely going to, maybe we start making a move to the upside, and this is a gold chart. Let me go to a Bitcoin chart. If Bitcoin on the monthly actually does take a break similar to gold and what it did back here, pulling into the 20-month moving average in green, there's the 20-month moving average in green for Bitcoin right here. What if Bitcoin does take a break, right? Maybe it's sideways as it pulls into Bitcoin, and maybe we're ranging around 100 or between 80 and 100. Who knows what it looks like? But do you realize how bullish this could be on the macro if it pulls what gold did when it got its ETF back in 2004? And this really, truly a super cycle that completely exceeds our expectations of what is in store for Bitcoin. And this really plays into even the clip that we just saw for the $500,000 million target. It's not like she was saying that this is going to happen like this year, but that target is so realistic in terms of the supply shock that's happening. So the gold Bitcoin comparison, it's become the most relevant it's ever been. And if you agree with me, let me know in the comments. There's a lot. Just check in the comments and see what you're all, where's your head at? What's that poll? I don't have the poll. I put a poll about altcoins versus Bitcoin, what you're more bullish on. Before I started live stream, it was sitting at like 82% altcoins. My audience is definitely not the Bitcoin maxis. I can tell you that much. And I'm curious what the poll is at. If somebody can comment, what is that like right now? I'm going to guess like 78%, maybe even like 86%. Who's winning? Altcoins? I want to talk about altcoins. Let's start with Ethereum. Ethereum has now overtaken MasterCard in market cap. That's a headline. That is a headline and a half on December 6th, the morning of December 6th, 2024. $485 billion market cap, MasterCard 484. So really good way to start this Ethereum part of the video, and then we're going to talk about other altcoins. So I want to take a clip. This is from like just 5 days ago. Check it out. Ethereum's going to have its breakout, and it's going to be massive. And I would tell you this. I don't care what altcoin you hold. I don't care if you hold Solana or XRP or ADA, whatever. This is going to be awesome for altcoin season, and it's going to be awesome for altcoins in general to see Ethereum pump and to see institutions coming in. This is the big move. This is so good for altcoins. So I'm going to look at the weekly, some things I want to check out, but I do want to start here on the daily chart just to make a note of what is currently happening. And this is why I wanted to cover Ethereum, because I mentioned this 5 days ago, and we're getting this breakout of this upper trend line for Ethereum. The target to the upside is upwards in the $18,000 to $20,000 range, right? And on this chart, and I talked about it, I think in a previous live stream or video, it's just such a nice target to the higher high area for Ethereum. If Ethereum's going to really make this move, this could be the power move for Ethereum this cycle. Everybody's counting Ethereum out. This is what I've talked about. Everybody's counting Ethereum out. It's old. It's not going to do anything. And the gains will be diminished, by the way. even if Ethereum hits 15,000, maybe it doesn't fully get to that target, 270 some percent gains for Ethereum is not a lot compared to altcoins and what other altcoins can see. But that's a power move right there for Ethereum, especially if you compare it to something like the upside for Bitcoin. So that's the move that I don't think many are anticipating, but I think will happen. But whether you hold Ethereum or not, and this is really my main point, this is the exact move we all want to see. We should be just eyes glued to the Ethereum charts to get this move. If this move happens and you don't hold Ethereum, but you hold other altcoins, your other altcoins are going to pump very nicely. That is how the bull market would play out. So Ethereum, I want this move. But look at the journey ahead. This is a daily chart. This is a multi-year kind of setup, and there's going to be some time. There really might be some time. Even with where we are right now, I won't get overly excited. I wouldn't be like, I'm not a trader in this regard, but I wouldn't like put a long here just because on the daily chart we broke this trend line. I wouldn't just go long and like leverage this, right? Especially when I'm looking at, you can see this potential inverse head and shoulders. There could be rejection here. We might get kind of a little bit of a fake out and then come back into the pattern itself, this massive pattern, come back into this apex because we're at the apex now, putting in a right shoulder of some sort. We're in the lower 3,000s if crypto is going to dip, and we might not get a breakout for some time, right? It might be the end of the year, beginning of Q1 next year before we're getting the breakout that Ethereum wants. So this is zoomed out on the daily, and the move to the target to the upside is a full bull cycle away. This isn't like immediate. If we get like an XRP month, meaning it's just parabolic, I mean, that's next level. That's a completely different live stream. So that's Ethereum on the daily and Ethereum on the weekly. We have this moving average area that I'm looking at, which I think is looking extremely bullish. You can just see how the 20 week has consolidated down in between the 200 down here, the 50 up here, and just the entire consolidation of these. And now it's really time on this weekly chart for these moving averages to begin separating in a way that we see in bull markets. So we have all this upside for Ethereum right now. And the other thing that I want to look at on the weekly, and then we'll go look at a couple altcoins on the weekly chart. Just look at the RSI and the MACD. RSI, not even in overbought on the slower moving momentum oscillator. If we look at altcoin season last cycle, and it was back here, January 2021, look where Ethereum was on the RSI. So we're at this very similar stage of the cycle. Ethereum was way overbought back then with still insane upside. Right now, we're not even in overbought yet. Ethereum has such a power move in store, and I think this is the greatest signal for altcoin season. Same thing with the MACD down here. You can see the MACD line just crossing above zero. Last cycle at this moment, it was kind of in a similar spot, but a little slightly higher. Point being, there's a ton of room for upside for Ethereum. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about some ADA and DOG. If you're out in the chat, we got 5,000 people. That's not bad considering like crypto's not pumping. There's nothing crazy happening right now. If you're in the chat, please smash the like button for me. Let's get to 10% of views. That's always my goal. I'm a goal-driven person. Out of nowhere, I'm seeing major influencers starting to cover ADA and DOG. The DOG thing makes kind of more sense to me. It's been so new. I've been covering it for a while, right? But I think a lot of people need to just keep an eye on it, learn about it. It's so new, and now they're getting on board. I think they're starting to see the upside potential. But the Cardano thing, it's crazy. Through an entire bear market, we saw just major channels and even media channels, not just influencers, just cover Cardano in such a negative way. But now they're starting to cover it in a positive way. And that's telling. That's telling. And the only reason that's happening is because Cardano as itself, solely standalone, the community is great, right? All the people that are bullish is great, but it's the standalone tech and what it's implementing now that is drawing that positivity. It's the interoperability with Bitcoin in a trustless way. Those headlines that have come out recently, that's that's happening. That is happening. And it's all these other things. And so Cardano and DOG are just, they're in my view, the two most bullish cryptos of the cycle. Just saw this post earlier today. I just posted this just over an hour ago. Swipe right for buy, left for sell. This is Kraken over here. Really, I mean, they're hinting the DOG spot listing. And this is the whole thing with DOG right now. This is the number one meme coin on Bitcoin. It is on the Runes protocol, and it's not as easily accessible to a lot of people. And Digital Asset News, Rob over there at Digital Asset News, he did a video on how to buy DOG. Buying DOG is actually pretty easy. And one of my neighbors was asking me about it the other day. You download the Xverse wallet, you send some Bitcoin to the Xverse wallet, and you can swap to DOG in the wallet. It's not that hard. But again, it's not on these tier one exchanges. But that is probably the most bullish thing. The fact that DOG is sitting at almost $700 million market cap at the beginning of a bull cycle for altcoins, doesn't have the tier one listings, it is primed. And it is the number one meme coin on Bitcoin. And I really went over the bullet points of it. And many of you might be sick of me saying it, but I know there's new people watching, and I just want to explain why I'm so bullish on this. I don't care if you buy DOG. I don't care if you buy ADA, but these are my two top plays. As a content creator, I'm putting it out there. So what I've been doing since I started the YouTube channel. It's on Bitcoin. That is the most obvious thing. There's meme coins on Bitcoin. I don't care. Maybe you're not even bullish on DOG, but you're bullish on some other meme coin on Bitcoin. Do you realize what happens when meme coins on Bitcoin go live on tier one exchanges? That alone, replace DOG with whatever you want. But do you realize that narrative? It's the most simple thing to recognize right now in all of crypto. What do Ethereum meme coins do? What have they done over the years? What do Solana meme coins do? What have they done over the years? Billions and tens of billions of dollars. What are the meme coins on Bitcoin going to do? Bitcoin is the largest chain. It's the OG. They have the meme coins now. This is the other thing, and this is probably most important. DOG is fair. It was free. It was an airdrop. It's rug proof. There's literally no team. There's no board of advisors. It's leveraged Bitcoin. I think throughout the entirety of this Bitcoin bull market, we're going to see just how DOG absolutely outperforms Bitcoin. When Bitcoin goes up, DOG is going to just go crazy. DOG doesn't have advisors, doesn't pay exchanges. And this could be a little bit of the reason why it's taken a little bit longer to get on exchanges in the first place. I don't think it's a technical issue of implementing runes as much as it is as, man, this community needs to prove to exchanges like they're not getting paid to list this thing. And so these exchanges are going to need to list it. Something like Coinbase, I don't even think charges a listing fee. And Kraken, you can see just getting close. They've already listed perpetuals, and it's just getting close. Doesn't pay influencers, and is going straight to the moon. And this is DOG in orange is Doge last cycle. A very fun comparison. I'm not saying it's going to be exact, but a very fun comparison playing out on the screen, and something I'm going to be just having some fun with in terms of tracking this cycle. That's DOG. And I'm not really going to do too much analysis in terms of price action. You can just see it's consolidating in really just such a beautiful way. With what we're waiting for to happen with DOG, and with where we are in the cycle, pulling into the moving averages here, the 50-day, the 20-day, in a bull market in general is what we want to see. But if we're getting ready for some type of big news, big listing, a big parabolic move through $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion, this is exactly what you want to see on a daily chart. And there's probably been a lot of tier one exchange accumulation here and all here. And it's just a matter of patience for me when it comes to the DOG chart. So let's go take a look at ADA. I know I'm quite positive there's a lot of ADA bulls in the chat. So first thing I want to talk about is on the weekly, and I'm zoomed in on the weekly. Just look at these candles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weekly candles. The bull market doors. The bull market doors for ADA are proving themselves as resistance, as they should. And if we actually go back to last cycle, here are the bull market doors for ADA, and we've covered this. Around 40 cents is the upper end of the breakout zone. This is probably the biggest thing my eye is on. And people get sick of me talking about the potential for dips, but this is the biggest thing for me. Look at when ADA was at this exact moment. Here's altcoin season starting. Weeks later, multiple weeks of resistance at this upper end of the bull market doors with some volatility. I mean, we're talking from 40 cents down to like 27 cents. That's some epic volatility. It doesn't look that big on this chart, but if you really measure that candle, we're looking at over 30% volatility. And then we go, and we're on the weekly, by the way. We go over here now, and it's like, wow, here's altcoin season on the weekly. This is crazy to me. Do you realize how these cycles almost to the day this data is on point? People give me a hard time sometimes. Like, you can't just look at history. You can't just go back on the charts and look at last cycle. Everybody, I've been doing that on this YouTube channel since I started it, really. And more as I've been doing videos. And it has been the absolute best thing that I've done is actually do that. That's why I'm always going back and looking at previous charts. It's like the no-brainer thing to do. And I'm not saying that will always hold up, but it has held up very nicely. And look at where we are. A couple weeks after altcoin season triggered, and that's Bitcoin dominance falling, by the way, we are at the exact same resistance areas last cycle. So last cycle at this moment, it was 2 red weekly candles here with 30% volatility. And that's why I'm always talking about dips. Like the move to the downside back below $1 would be the more likely normal thing to happen. I want it to just keep it going. I would like to see $2 quick. And that is always in play. But we have to allow consolidation in this cycle. And the other thing I did want to point out here is this. It looks very bullish, and it is very bullish, but it could play into a shorter term dip. We have a 20-week moving average in green just about to cross above the 50-week moving average. Such an awesome move that we want to see. Because if you remember, we topped out in March 2024, and it was just all this midterm bearishness. The 20-week cross below the 50-week. We're repivoting into altcoin season. That's what this is on the ADA chart. The reason why I said it could lead to some, dip potential is just look, for instance, we had a 20-week moving average crossing above the 50-week back here too, exiting the bear market, the real depths of the bear market. 20-week crossing the 50. Look at that power move. We're getting a power move now. But that move was kind of like a leading indicator signaling, all right, time to take a chill pill, right? This could be a leading indicator right here that's saying on the ADA chart, 20-week moving average, crossing the 50-week, time to take a chill pill, consolidate. So I just want to put that out there, a little bit of a warning, and also just making a note that it would be normal and okay, especially you can see the RSI, the slower moving momentum oscillator is in the overbought territory. Just cooling off is not a bad thing. I had a little arrow pointing over here. Like you probably can't really see it, but just look at these headlines. And this is within trading view. Here's one. Cardano whales keep buying. Is ADA poised to hit $1.50 next? It is very poised. I can tell you that much. And then the headlines continue. Look at this one. This is such a good headline. Hydra outclasses Visa. Cardano processes 2 billion transaction. Impact on ADA price. Headlines like this, I want to anticipate just an immediate, just crazy shock of price pump because of what happened in recent days with Hydra. But this is exactly why I think Cardano is perform so well in this bull market, as well as drawing the eyes of the institutions. These are more macro things that are so important to ADA. So some of those headlines just are just so awesome. I saw one kind of talking about Cardano whales accumulating. I don't know where it is. It's not here anymore. So that's ADA on the weekly, bullish, obviously. If we go over here and look at it on the 4-hour, I did want to point this out since we're talking about price action. We're talking about potential upside. We have this channel, this kind of rising channel ADA has been within. You can see kind of this lower trend line being very much tested. And when we just talked about that dip, there's a target to the downside into the 80-cent range. So prepare for it. That's all I'm going to say. You can see how we'd be falling back into the kind of lower range of this bull market door area and the dip from swing high. Let me just say, if it happened, would be like a 35% dip. Very in line with what happened at this exact moment last cycle. So just brace for that. And I'm not sitting here saying it's going to happen. That's not my job. That's not why I do this analysis. But for me, I need to mentally just say, if this happens, am I prepared for it? That's why I do this. Upside target, this is what I'm talking about. $2, close to $2. So you can see how this thing can go either way. One thing that I did note on a recent Cardano video was just how fast, if ADA does get the explosive move from the bull market doors, how fast it can make its way to all-time high. This is a weekly, so 1, 2, basically like 3 weeks it took, and ADA was testing the previous bull market high. So just to give you some context, if ADA explodes out of this bull market door area, not only is $2 in play quickly, we could be getting to all-time high in the $3 range quickly as well. So that's ADA on the charts. I like your 50-50 predictions. We prepare for both. We can prepare for both. That's just my style, everybody. Obviously, sometimes I'll put out there, I did a post yesterday, like $3 by January 10th, I think it was. And that's because I see historical data and I say, that is in play right now. Something like that is in play. So I post about that, right? Like kind of like a fun forecast. It's not guaranteed, but when I'm really speculating short-term price, it really is 50-50. There's no purpose to try and predict what's going to happen. We know where we are in the cycle. We know that we're in a parabolic kind of environment, and the breakouts to the upside, they can happen. But why would we not just sit here and just visualize every scenario and just say, man, it doesn't matter if we hit 80 cents or $2. Like, I'm just prepared. This is the best thing to do. It's just the most realistic thing to do. It doesn't make any sense to try and predict stuff. Buy the dip, hold the surge. God bless you, man. I hope your family, Jordan, I hope your family has a wonderful Christ Jesus filled Christmas and New Year's. Amen. God bless you, bro. Dan, what's your comfortable sell target for ADA? $6 to $7. I actually just did. I launched a video on Substack the other day. It'll probably be here on YouTube soon, maybe next week. But in the video, I was talking about exits, and I actually was using ADA and DOG as kind of my examples in the video. But generally, I talked about how first things first in trying to figure out taking profits. Where do I think this could actually realistically go? ADA realistically could go to 500 billion. We saw Ethereum do that last cycle. It's in play for multiple altcoins. I'm just saying that. That's not my target, but that's my starting point. And then 250 billion, somewhere around there in this range, the $5 to $10 range is more conservative, realistic. I think just higher high parabolic move for ADA. And that's my true starting point for just kind of trying to get a feel of my take profits. And so this could be my ending range of take profits. And it depends. It depends really what your goals are. And it also depends, I'm not the type of person that's just like, I am completely leaving crypto and taking profits, all of my money out of crypto for this bull cycle. And I'm selling all within this range. That's not my approach. It's a ladder out method. And that laddering out method, it has to begin differently for everybody. We're all in different positions. I saw somebody, their dad, I think, sold at 80 cents. Maybe they were accumulating down here at 32, and it makes sense for people to do that. Maybe people are starting to ladder out right now. Maybe it's $1.70. Maybe it's $2.30. What does your risk appetite tell you to do? What does your financial situation tell you to do? Don't listen to YouTubers to tell you when to sell. Don't do that. it's different for all of us. But for me, I genuinely will say this emphatically. Doesn't matter what chart you're looking at. This is ADA. The best way to do this is to ladder out and to, even before the moves start happening, to visualize what that laddering out looks like for you. So that when that first sell point gets here for you, no matter what it is, maybe it's $1.48, maybe it's $3. When that first target gets hit, you already have your plan. Like, oh, there's my plan. It's this much ADA. I'm sticking to it. So it's laddering out, though, I think is the best. I would not recommend just waiting for a like bull market top and trying to sell the top. Trying to see if I have. Dan, I see you cover sometimes Chainlink. As a value investor, do you have an opinion on its potential? I mean, I have talked a lot about Chainlink as a top play for bull cycle. I still think it's such a top play from a value investor perspective, especially. I mean, what Chainlink offers the entire industry from a data perspective and what it offers enterprise is just the whole entire crypto space is such a good crypto. So value wise, ton of upside. And even just looking at the chart, you can just see, I mean, just want to check out how far it is from all-time high. This is Chainlink. So it's 121% from all-time high and has a ton of upside potential in terms of market cap. I'm not sure what the market cap is right now on Chainlink, but yeah, I think it's a great play. My crypto journey, and throughout the entire bear market, you might have seen me kind of posting about like Chainlink, XRP, Polkadot. I think they're all great plays. And I was trying to find my position that I wanted to be in for altcoin season. It was a multi-year process. It was sitting back and really trying to figure out what narrative I liked most as a value play, what I liked the most. And for me, the biggest thing that is weird, and it's people probably don't like it, and I'm sorry if you don't like it, but it's so obvious to me. Cardano, obviously, and DOG. DOG came out of nowhere. It's not something I anticipated at all. But the number one meme coin on Bitcoin became that it's a value play. It really is. I am sorry. I do not give financial advice. I do not give that financial advice. I just provide the data. Love you, Dan. Awesome videos as usual. Come in. Chad, Discord. Journey joined us. Yeah, Journey. That was a shout out to Chad on Cardano. Massive announcement yesterday. Journey Crypto. Tony over there, I guess, is an advisor. Love seeing Cardano meme coins. I love seeing them win. I want to see the community win. I want to see Cardano community, the Cardano meme coin culture just go parabolic. I want to see it. So shout out to those guys. I'm very bullish on Cardano meme coins. Victor says nobody cares about DOG, bro. Beg to differ. I think at one point during this bull market, maybe it's at 10 billion. Victor, I think even you're going to care about DOG. I really do. If you're in the chats and you care about DOG, tell Victor. Say, Victor, I care about DOG, dude. Look at this. I see DOG. I like. See? So, everybody, I try and keep these things like 30 minutes, and I always go a little over, around 40 minutes. I appreciate you watching. I'll put timestamps. And if you're in the chats, if you're not a subscriber, smash the subscribe for me. And again, shout out to crypto.com. Go sign up. get some rewards, get their Visa card. This metal thing is awesome. Shout out to crypto.com for sponsoring the video. Excited to have them on board, and appreciate each and every one of you. Smash the like on your way out. You know the support means a ton, and I'll see you all in the next video. God bless.